Okay, what's the number one reason you should try Instacart? Shopping over 1.5 million unique products from over 1,000 retailers and get everything delivered right to your door in as fast as 1 hour, all in one app. So you can spend more time with the ones who matter most. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
Dude, you gotta hear this.
Go ahead. I think I want to hear this.
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily on this Tuesday edition. Glad to have you here with us. Joining us on the IHOP hotline, offensive coordinator at K-State, Collin Klein. Collin, welcome into the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Man, we're excited to talk to you. It's an exciting time. You guys have the Catbacker Tour going on right now. I know you've been a part of some of those, and there's one stop coming into Wichita. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But let's talk about this offseason, both for you and for the team. You had some tough decisions to make, but you're there in Manhattan. And, you know, just I guess at the beginning, like, what is it that still has you there in Manhattan, and how much have you valued this time professionally after your playing days?
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, K-State's just it's an unbelievable place. So fortunate and blessed to work for someone like Coach Kleiman, who's the utmost character and integrity and family-centered and, you know, obviously an extremely amazing coach and mentor for me. And, you know, just felt like, you know, my time wasn't done and still there was work to do. And, you know, really just have such an amazing group of players and staff. It just, you know, that the time wasn't right.
So, Colin, dialing in on that, you know, a little bit more, both you and Coach Kleiman have contract extensions that were made official during this offseason. How important is that on the recruiting trail as you're talking to players, and not only high school players, but working the transfer portal, that sort of thing, for these players to know that, you know, there's some consistency there with the football program?
No, absolutely. Stability is at a premium in college football right now, you know, and when you have an established system, an established program that has a culture of serving people, taking care of people, and winning, you know, you know, you want to hang on to that, you know, and so I think that's what it's provided. I think it provides, you know, young student athletes the opportunity to come in and develop, you know, and football is a developmental game. And having the, you know, stability within your staff, stability in your program provides the, you know, the best environment for those student athletes to grow.
Collin, let's talk about the current state of college football. It is, you know, consistency seems like it's probably more difficult than it ever has been for programs. You played at a time when some of these opportunities weren't there for players. Now, as a coach, you've got to sort of deal with the other side of it. Where do you fall in this modern era of college sports with transfers and NIL? You know, you've got a unique perspective because you were such a high-level player. You would have, you know, you don't have to say it, but we will. You'd have made bank in the NIL world. So, like, that's got to be a little bit conflicting, right? Or how do you handle that?
No, you know, I really think I think it's for, you know, for athletes to be able to use their, you know, their name, image, and likeness, and you know, be able to take advantage of some opportunities. I think it's a great training ground for real life business too. You know what I mean? A lot of them are able to start and be a part of things that, you know, are really cool. I think as long as the biggest thing that I think the game of football will purify itself a little bit too of, you know, just what truly are the motives behind it? You know what I mean? I mean, we've got guys like Will Howard and I guess a local, you know, kid like Avery Johnson and, you know, from Wichita, really capitalizing on the opportunities to give back and use their platforms and use their ability to get involved with, you know, their communities and get involved with organizations, with Will Howard Be the Match, you know, campaign and different things that weren't possible before. And I think as long as the perspective is, hey, how can I help everyone and give back and obviously, yeah, there's some personal benefits as well, which is fantastic. But I think as long as that perspective is in place, it can be a really good thing.
Collin, one of the things that we've talked about on this show multiple different times in regards to the program and the success that you and Coach Kleiman have had over the last couple of years has been the development of quarterbacks. And you mentioned Will Howard, you mentioned Avery Johnson, Skylar Thompson is obviously on the list in the NFL with the Dolphins. Talk a little bit about the importance of developing quarterbacks and what that kind of identity can mean for your overall program.
Well, it's obviously critical, and everything goes through that position. And, we've been so fortunate to work with just some incredibly talented, incredibly high character, high work ethic, selfless young guys. And obviously Coach Kleiman and myself, we try to work on that and grow that and preach that also. But, credit to them. They've done a heck of a job embracing that. And, just all of them have such a great passion for the game, learning the game. It's been a lot of fun for Coach Kleiman and myself because Coach Kleiman is a defensive guy by trade. And so he coaches the secondary. And so he's in my meetings all the time. And so we're kind of all quarterbacks, myself and Coach, kind of looking at the board both ways, right side up and upside down kind of a thing. So, it's so good for our guys to be able to see and learn the game, from a different perspective, and him providing that to them, I think has been extremely beneficial. And guys that want to serve their team, ultimately, and compete their butts off to be the best they can be, and it's proven true.
Collin Klein joining us, K-State offensive coordinator, the Catbacker Tour coming into Wichita. We'll talk about the tour here in just a couple of minutes. Appreciate the time, Collin. K-State fans are so excited to have you back here succeeding and helping take the program to this point, which is so cool to see. I mean, when you get alumni and you get former players and that kind of thing, it makes it better. They also want the best for you professionally, too, which is a really interesting perspective, I think, from a fan base. But when you think about your career, and I know you've got to focus so hard on, what's right now, but what do you think, and you may not know the answer to this right now either, but, what do you think your ultimate ambitions might be in the world of football now?
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, the first part of your comment question was so accurate. I think not only is it the on-field success that we've all experienced in football and basketball at K-State, especially in the last year, it's been so cool. I think it's the how it has happened, how we've done it, and the type of people from Gene Taylor, Coach Kleiman, now Coach Tang, and all of us trying to be a part of it, of how we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to love on young guys, push them to be the best they can be, compete at the highest level, and do it the right way. And that's, I know that really rings true with our K-State DNA, and that's, I think, why that excitement is being generated. And yes, results have followed, but that's so fun to be a part of. I know for me personally, truly, it's whatever the Lord has, and whatever journey I end up taking or not taking. I would love to be a head coach someday, but at the end of the day, it's like you said, if you start focusing too far down the road, you're going to trip up and land flat on your face. So it's just about being where we're at right now and making K-State as good as we possibly can.
Well, Big 12 championship, obviously, last year, Sugar Bowl appearance against Alabama. Really, this team, Collin, burst onto the national scene last season. And, obviously we know in this part of the country, the way the program is being built and competing in the Big 12 and all of that. But you guys had the opportunity to really be in the national spotlight in the postseason last year. What was that like? Did anything change as far as, the way you went about your business? I'm sure that there was, obviously more requests and media availability and things like that. But overall, did you notice any major changes with being in the national spotlight last season?
I don't really think so. I think it was a credit to our guys and, again, our leadership, from the inside out on our football team of guys were in it for the right reasons. And so whether we were doing really well or not, that didn't change their approach. It didn't change how they, responded to one another. Yeah, I think it was. I think all of us appreciated and like that, growth and moving the program forward. But that's not why any of them did it. And credit their character. It didn't really change their approach and something that we kind of all expect of ourselves and each other. So.
Collin, we'll talk about Avery Johnson in just a second. We'd be remiss if we didn't in this part of the world. But it's Will Howard's team next year. Is Will Howard? Do you think Will Howard's a pro? I mean, he looked like it last year. What do you think his ceiling is professionally if he comes out and repeats or even exceeds what he did a year ago?
I think he is obviously playing. He played the second half of last season at an extremely high level. The exciting part is I still think there's more in him. I think he thinks there's still more out there and more in him. We're just going to keep, digging and pushing that potential as far as we can. And does he have the ability to do so? I would say absolutely. But again, we just got to take it one day at a time and keep pushing things forward.
How about that development from Avery Johnson, the local kid here? Of course, we followed his high school career. What are you seeing so far from him as he's made his way up to K-State?
I've been so impressed with just his work ethic from day one, his ability to process and his awareness of what's going on around him from a schematic standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, and how fast he's picked things up. Coming in at semester, it's a lot. And he hasn't broke stride and really has put himself in a position to compete and be in the mix this fall.
So with Avery, he's a great example for us. One, he's here, so we know him, but he's a perfect example of a high school or like a teenager basically who enters like this level of celebrity that's taken to it. I mean, it's always been there. Like it was there but it's different now. How difficult do you think that is for guys? And we think like you that he's handled this very well, but there's a lot of guys in that situation. How difficult must that be to be an 18-year-old superstar like that in the current college athletics model?
Well, it ain't easy. That's for dang sure. I mean, you're exactly right. And growth is never a straight line. Like he is as great a start as he's gotten, as talented as he is, and as well as he has handled everything. I think for all of us coaches and supporters and fans included, you kind of start, expecting guys to be perfect because they are excelling, and that's not fair either. It's going to be a learning process, a growth process for him, and I know his desire is there, his work ethic's there. His motives are great as far as being able to help and make sure he's giving as much as he's receiving in all the stuff. And so I'm just excited to watch him grow, honored that I have the privilege to again work with him and help him be the best he can be.
Collin, it was a pretty incredible NFL draft for the Wildcats with Felix Anudike-Uzomah going in the first round to the Chiefs, Julius Brents going to the Colts, and then a couple of other players throughout the course of the draft. Talk a little bit about your thoughts on where these players landed and what overall that means to the future of the program, being able to know that you guys are developing what looks to be pretty quality professionals.
Well, it means a lot, and so proud of each one of those guys and the journey that each one of them have been on, and how they've handled it, and how they led and served their teammates when they were here, and being able to all of them go to their hometowns or relatively is pretty dang cool. It doesn't happen very often, and know that because of how they handle their business, and all of them will be very, very successful for a long time.
All right, Collin Klein, offensive coordinator for Kansas State. We've got you on because you guys are on the Catbacker Tour, stopping into Wichita today. Now, you won't be here, as I understand it. You've been out in western Kansas. But the Catbacker Tour coming in tonight at the Stockyards. Chris Kleiman will be there. For people that haven't been to one of these, for K-State fans, what can people expect on the Catbacker Tour?
Well, it's a great time. It's a great time to kind of be able to interact and have some good conversation and fellowship there with some athletes, some coaches, some fans, and you'll get to hear kind of some of the behind the scenes state of the program, how things are going, where we're going. Get to probably have some good food, and Wyatt Thompson does a great job, and they are great events.
And it is at tonight the Wichita Union Stockyards. It is free, so you can go in there. So right now, Collin, before we let you, the world of Collin Klein is what? Recruiting? You're on the road constantly, or is it more coaching or more recruiting right now?
Yes and yes. No, we're doing both. The players are on a little bit of a break right now, so we're trying to wrap up spring recruiting, and it's been a good cycle for us, and on the road right now, actually. So it's all good.
All right. Well, good luck. Go catch the next big fish. We appreciate it, Collin. Hey, thanks for joining us here. Let's do it again.
Hey, we will. Anytime. Thank you guys very much.
K-State offensive coordinator Collin Klein. Fantastic stuff there. Candid, honest, love it. Man, there's not anybody in the world that's not rooting for Collin Klein's success. We really appreciate that. Catbacker Tour tonight. K-State fans or just football fans out at the Stockyards here in Wichita. It is free to enter. You can buy food and drinks there. You can go support K-State football. A chance Chris Kleiman will be at that event. There you go, 869-1240. If you want to listen back, if you joined us late, a lot of good stuff in that interview. You can go to the Odyssey app and listen to it on demand. We'll be right back. Jacob and Tommy, more Sports Daily right after this.